Who's gonna die? Who's gonna die? Oh my god. What a juicy guys, it's Phil34 and today I'm here with my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3 finale review. There is no doubt about it guys that this season has been probably one of the most hectic seasons of S.H.I.E.L.D. thus far. We've been on another planet, Inhumans galore, Hive, Fitz and Simmons. We've really been through a lot this season. That being said guys, all things must come to an end and of course we have come to the finale. Pretty much in this one guys, Coulson and his team are out to get Hive before he gets his warhead and pretty much makes most of the earth into primitives. If Hive is to succeed, he will have this Inhuman army that he's been wanting to get this whole entire season. That being said guys, I did like this episode and I thought it was a solid finale. Now let's get into details what I thought was the most effective and maybe not the most effective in this finale. In this episode guys, there were some really good character moments. Most of these character interactions in this episode had some serious weight to them because these were like culminations of things from previous episodes and dialogue and incidences that were all built upon in the dialogue in this episode, and I thought they were really nice. And I thought the emotions carried over well. One that stood out to me was the whole Daisy and Mac part in this episode. You know, not many episodes ago, Mac kind of put his life on the line hoping he could save Daisy, and they kind of fought. And, you know, she could have killed him. And they really talked about it in this episode. When Daisy was kind of rejecting Mac, telling her we're not partners anymore, but you know, he said that he forgave her, and the emotional impact that it had on her was just really good. When I was watching it, I was just like, oh, feels bad, man. Oh. They had some really good dialogue too with the whole dynamic of the cross and, you know, Hive being the devil of sorts and Mac having faith. Mac was dropping some serious bars on the light and the darkness. Some other good character moments were again with Daisy, but with Coulson in this scenario, feels bad again. Coulson was trying to tell Daisy, you know, it's not your fault, etc, etc. And she was just feeling like grim and saying, no, this is all my fault. Daisy was saying it was withdrawals, and she is really in a bad place in this episode. And the whole episode, we kind of see her stuck in this place, and even at the end, she's still not in the greatest position. The conversation with Daisy and Coulson made her seem very grim and emo, and I think that was maybe a hint to her look at the end of the episode. And the last one that stood out to me was the whole Mac and Yo-Yo dynamic. They've been really putting these two characters together in the past couple episodes and building a relationship of sorts, and that really plays out in this episode. One of my favorite lines from the conversation was when they're talking about the cross, and obviously that was a big part of this episode, and she says it's not a rabbit's foot just to toss around, it's a symbol of faith, and I thought that was really nice because, you know, Mac had faith in her. I couldn't help but think they're really just trying to pass this thing around. And this connects to something else that I liked in this episode was how the writers really did a hot potato with the jacket and with the cross in this episode. I thought it was great. It really had me on the edge of my seat. You know, even though we saw this vision and we know those two things were in there, they really did a well job at passing them around throughout the whole entire cast, making us not know who was gonna be in that situation. At first I was like, is it Yo-Yo? I'm like, okay, then it's Daisy, and then it's Mac, and then is it Lincoln? Is it Fitz? I was like, whoa. Something else that I liked in this episode was Hive. Hive looked awesome. I give the show some shit for their CG a lot of the times, but this was really dope. It sucks they only had it for a bit in the finale, but what are you gonna do? One gripe that I did have though was when they caught Hive and they're trying to bring him back to the base, the CG for that container was so bad. I don't know, that was just me. It didn't look the greatest. I guess I know where all the CG budget went for this episode. Acting wise, across all boards guys, I think everyone in the cast did a stellar job. Standouts in this episode most definitely to me would be Daisy, Lincoln, Coulson, Mac, and Fitz. The fighting scenes in this finale were very solid as well. The reason being is there's very big emotion behind these fighting scenes. For example, with Daisy and Hive. These are so awesome because she has so much rage towards Hive, and you know, also there's a little backstory behind Ward why she doesn't like this guy, and they're just duking it out. But like if you saw my notes while I was watching the scene, it's literally just like, what the F? Oh my god, no way, what the hell? She was really going in with that knife, and it was some hectic things that we saw on screen with Hive, you know, like cracking the bones and shit. Something that I liked in this episode was the dynamic of Daisy having extreme withdrawal. I really didn't see the kind of twist with her wanting to be under Hive's control when they met each other. That really caught me off guard. I thought this was very interesting in her character because she really has given up at this point and just wanted this love that he was giving. I thought her being invulnerable to it was a little iffy, but it did fuel her in her fight with him just after that scene. Surprisingly, in this climactic finale to the season, there were some funny and lighthearted moments in this episode. Probably my favorite was a little bit in the intro when Fitz and Talbot were just trying to get the information from the motion capture. I thought that was hilarious. Also, that Star Wars hologram reference by Coulson was freaking awesome. Is it just me, but I noticed that the MCU is really wrapping up their Star Wars references. I think this is Disney giving us like a secret agenda that they're planning out or something. I will say though, in the 2 hours, the dialogue did get a little rough at certain parts. Like when James was talking to Hive about, you know, the primitives and like, are there any women? Do they look like this, etc. I also thought that Lincoln had a few cringy lines here and there when he was talking to Daisy. Also, it's a speed round right here. Some things that I thought were really cool in this episode. The humans that Radcliffe made, they are confirmed to be the primitives. Woo! The axe shotgun. Oh my gosh. I saw it and I was just like, oh my Oh my god. Fits with the invisible gun, my boy. I thought he was gonna die like 3 times in this episode, and I was just spam tweeting on Twitter. I'm like, no, ah! Although I don't know why the guy just didn't kill Fitz. Like, realistically, he should have just shot him there. Dunzo. Now I'm going to talk about some minor gripes that I did have with this episode. Some of the emotional parts with Daisy and Lincoln. Okay, I thought the acting was really, really great. The one thing that kind of was iffy to me was the actual emotional weight to it. Like, I didn't really get that too much in the scenes. I think it's because I never really fully bought into the relationship, so when they were talking about their relationship and, you know, things not working out or in the future, it was just kind of like, meh. Something that was a gripe for me was how they pulled the whole Quicksilver thing again with Yo-Yo getting shot. It just like... Okay. Something that kind of bothered me was the way that they put together that whole scene with Hive, you know, losing his memories. It felt a little weird and off-pace in the episode, and the way that they kind of did the flashbacks and stuff. I think it was just a way for them to tie in all the things that we saw previously in the season. Now that those are out of the way, let's go talk about the ending. The final sequence with Lincoln and Hive. I thought it was really well done, and it was a good sign off to both of these characters. I thought the emotional impact in that final scene was so well done compared to some of the other things in the episode with Daisy and Lincoln. You see this villain not trying to argue with Lincoln or anything. They both just accept defeat in the end, and it was just really well done. I mean, you could see Lincoln dying, like the way they were building up his character, like it was gonna happen. Lincoln didn't really have much purpose in the show anymore anyway, so I saw him dying too. And that one scene where him and Coulson were talking, and he tells him like, I don't want to be in S.H.I.E.L.D., that's when I knew, like, guaranteed he was gonna die. You just signed your death papers, dude, like, confirmed, like, 100%. Another thing that I didn't expect in this episode was Radcliffe's character. He was very interesting in this, and he was pretty prevalent too. I've been wondering, like, is he gonna carry over into the next season to be a regular? By that ending, it appears so. Now, before we talk about the Radcliffe stuff, let's go talk about that whole 6-month later jump. Okay, that was a rather abrupt change, don't you think? So Daisy has gone rogue and has a gothic flavor to it. And we see, you know, a newspaper and it says Quake, and they're calling Daisy a terrorist, a criminal, etc. Whoa. I thought this was very interesting, and now I'm like, okay, season 4, okay. When I saw Quake in the newspaper and I saw Daisy walking around looking different with black hair and everything, I got really excited. And I also like the fact that the writers kept true, you know, to making that promise with that character Charles from a couple episodes ago. For those who don't remember, Daisy made a promise to this character Charles who died, saying that, you know, she would protect his daughter Robin. And that's what she's doing in this scene. A little bit more interesting than that, we see Mac and Coulson on the run for Daisy. And apparently there's a new director? Like, what? Who? There are so many things to guess until the next season, and I am so looking forward to it. If I had to guess who the new director is, I would say Maria Hill. Like, that is my guess. You know, maybe she's not working with the CIA anymore. Maybe, you know, Tony Stark is more involved in S.H.I.E.L.D. now, and maybe Tony's the director. Who knows? Who do you guys think is the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Let me know in the comment sections down below. Okay, now let's talk about that last scene with Radcliffe that I didn't expect at all. So I'm assuming he's gonna play a big part of the next season, and with that last bit, you know, it's pretty much guaranteed. He's a cool character, I find him interesting, and I want to learn more about him and what his plans are. Anyway, what was that in the end now? I'm seeing a bunch of people on the internet like, model decoy! Life model decoy! And that may very well be the case, but I actually have another idea. My friend on the HIVE network, Tim, and I were talking after the episode, and we were discussing what happened. Tim thinks that Radcliffe is going towards making the Machine Teen from the comics. Holden Radcliffe is a character from the 2005 comic Machine Teen. We think Radcliffe is making Machine Teen because in the show, it had the initials ADA, and in the Machine Teen comic, the character's name is Adam, ADA. So they could just easily add an M and name the character Adam, so that's the reason why we think that. It would make sense with the ending, but what do you guys think? Do you think it was Life Model Decoy? Do you think it's Machine Teen? Let us know in the comment sections below. All in all, guys, I thought the S.H.I.E.L.D. finale was really well done. You know, they executed things well in terms of the acting, in terms of the story. They finished off the Hive story nice, as well as, you know, the Fallen Angel, we got that. In addition, we got some hints towards what we're gonna get in season 4. I'm gonna go ahead and give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. And that is my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 3 finale review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you can leave a like and subscribe to the HIVE network if you have not already. And yeah, that's it, guys. I've been doing these Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. reviews with the HIVE network for a couple months now. It's really the first thing that I signed on with these guys to do, and you know, I've had a journey. It's been fun. It's been a great experience to do these reviews for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And it was a pretty good season, so if you guys want my channels in the links below, you can subscribe. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next time. Peace. Shotgun!